Back from the Dead, Razzle recommends is full speed ahead for Spooktober. 𝗥𝗇𝗃 is a movie that is best seen without any prior knowledge. So I beg of you, please do not watch this video right now. Seriously, it's easy to find online, it's worth your money, and it's one of my all-time favorites. I've seen it 20 times, and it never gets old. If you can't help yourself, this video will be split into 2 sections, so plot spoilers for the second half. Originally titled Don't Stop Shooting, this is an indie Japanese movie made by Shinichiro Ueda. He has a few film credits before this movie, but he's mostly known for his theatre troupe Peace. Said theatre troupe once made a 2-act play about a film crew filming a zombie movie who were then set upon by real zombies. Ueda took this concept and made it into a film, and it is glorious. 𝗥𝗇𝗃 is not a scary movie, although it does feature flying heads, axes in people's skulls, and more than a few buckets of blood. But the focus here is not to spook, but entertain. Ueda created one hell of a popcorn flick, and it's just a little bit smarter than you would expect it to be. The film follows said film crew shooting a zombie movie. Everyone is trying their best, but the director is a maniac who expects way too much from them. He's making crap, and he expects everyone to make it into high art. He is a delusional dirtbag. So he does what any ordinary person would do. He unleashes a curse onto the production, bringing the dead back to life, so that he can get actual reactions from his actors. It's an absurd premise, and the movie gleefully indulges in its silliness. This is heightened by the fact that the first 40 minutes are one continuous take. No cuts, no edits, no trickery. It took them 6 tries to get it perfect. This on its own makes the movie unique. On a budget of 3 million yen, approximately 41,000 Australian dollars, the filmmaking is so impressive. It has style, for sure. It has great blocking, courtesy of the years in theatre. The acting is hilarious, without a doubt. But what makes the movie work is how deceptively simple it is. Because a film being all in one take usually only has one gimmick: itself. And of course shooting any scene is hard, let alone something that's 40 minutes long. You give the movie the benefit of the doubt when you spot any tiny mistakes, because it's just so impressive for what it is. And on top of being impressive filmmaking, the take itself is uproarious. There are so many setups that are paid off. The goofiness of the tone allows you to just enjoy it for what it is. I would love the movie if it were just that, because it's just so much fun. It's going for a grindhouse thing, and it excels without pandering. What that means is that it doesn't constantly remind you of other, better movies. Like, the greyness of the zombies reminds me a bit of Dawn of the Dead by Romero. It has some found footage DNA a la The Blair Witch and 𝗥𝗇𝗃, but that's about it really. It's a zombie movie like no other. Nothing else can compare, and that is because of its second half. We're gonna get into spoilers now, so if you've stuck around for this long, I strongly recommend that you stop and come back later. 𝗥𝗇𝗃 is the most successful indie Japanese movie of all time, raking in about $30 million worldwide. It connected with a lot of people, and if you love the art of filmmaking, please watch it. The one take itself is so much fun, but you do notice some strange things. The camera zooms in at weird times, people sit aimlessly in the background of certain shots. The cameraman both exists in universe and doesn't. It's a really strange tone, but you forgive it. And after this take ends, the gears shift, and we enter an extended flashback, and the real movie gets started. The maniac director who terrorizes his crew is revealed to be an emasculated sweetheart. He makes TV shows with a small crew. Fast, cheap, but average is his catchphrase. He has a wife and child. They're safe. They change the station in the middle of his work. It's not that I don't respect him. His wife, the makeup lady, loves his scripts, but they're used to him. Nothing's ever challenging. He clearly has ambitions for himself, but he lacks confidence and talent. So when a couple of producers come to him to make a film about a movie crew set upon by zombies, he has to take it. There are caveats. The movie has to be filmed and broadcast live on television, with only one camera. And as the next section plays out, we begin to gain new context for what we saw before. The second section follows the in-universe pre-production of rehearsals of 𝗥𝗇𝗃, but it is different. The director's a wimp, the leading man is a pretentious nub, the makeup is much more reserved. And before it's even started, the production is falling apart. The structure of this movie is both necessary and admittedly a little grating. It doesn't bother on your first watch because you just get to experience the surprise of this strange evolution. But on subsequent rewatches, the second section can become a bit of a chore. It is so necessary for setting up conflicts and planting payoffs that it does make it completely worth it in the end. Another surprise is how all the characters have these little arcs. The director learns to be a bit more confident, to take pride in his work. The pretentious leading man humbles himself a bit, and he learns to work as a team. The makeup finds her own value, and then quickly loses control of herself. There are many great things to say about One Cut of the Dead, and even though this is the spoiler section, I still want to keep this light because you should watch this a second, a fifth, and a 10th time. Because every time you watch it, you notice something new, funny, and wonderful. The script is deceptively detailed, and as we get into the final act, an in-universe behind-the-scenes version of the one take, every single thing you thought was off, that dude randomly in the background, this zombie standing strangely, the strange zooms, they're all explained. It's a triumph of a script, yet it's not so stiff and rigid as it might seem. During the take we see in the movie, you see the camera stumble while in motion. This was not planned. They thought that the take was manageable, so they just kept going. In fact, they filmed an insert to make it seem it was intentional. The nature of this film is such that mistakes can only add to the wider story, while it was already really great in concept. One Cut of the Dead is a long string of revelations, with each one expanding the scope of what you once knew. You realize that the actual actors had to memorize their lines, their movements, and their mistakes. And then they had to make it all natural. Each performance is comedically layered, and there is no weak link, but the highlight has to be the makeup. A former actress who had to stop acting because she fell too deep into her roles. She starts hurting people for real, and she becomes a bigger threat than the zombies. Her transformation from a mild-mannered housewife to this competent but ultimately bloodthirsty killer is so satisfying to watch. And the greatest trick this movie pulls is that you know exactly how this take will go, but it is still infused with tension. The tension absolutely takes you over. There are so many small problems that have to be solved, because everything, their careers, their reputation, and their art is at stake. This is being broadcast live. Everything is on the line. You know that they will make it, but you don't know how. And that's what makes it special. The characters lose scenes that they care about, but they keep going on, in hopes that no one will notice how much time and effort they put into making it all. The creativity of this movie is such that nothing before it was like it, and anything after it is merely imitating. With surprisingly subtle character work, inventive filmmaking, and so much heart and soul going into it, One Cut of the Dead is a triumph. It does have something to say about the relationship between art and business, if you go looking for it. But ultimately this film is about entertaining the audience. It's about the value of teamwork and the joy of filmmaking. And you should watch One Cut of the Dead, because if you've ever been part of a no-budget film production, or you just love movies, then it might well change your life. Thank you for watching.